All right, so it's live. Let me just mute this. All right, so I'm muted.
Yeah, I'm muted as well.
Okay, so let's get back to the. All right, guys, what's up? This is Mark from the Yashini, and you should know what we're doing here. Matthew hit $1 million in sales in less than 9 months, drop shipping on Amazon. Um, and that's what you're looking at here. 1 million. What is that? 18,190. And it's a bit off. Those of you guys who are drop shipping on Amazon should know that today Amazon's application has some like glitches or something. But yeah, so Matthew, quick
Yeah,
introduction.
it's not
How did
reporting
you
all the sales today.
get?
But either way, it's still, you can see here clearly 1,018,190.42 cents. And if you guys were on the live yesterday, I kind of touched in on this as well. But if you missed the live, I'll just show you real quick. Yesterday, or not yesterday, but the day before. So on the 16th, that was the biggest day that I've had so far in the last 9 months. And well, it looks like it's changed, I guess, because of I probably had some refunds or cancellations maybe. But either way, so now the final number shows at 20,551.73. Yesterday it showed 100 orders and 107. So again, it probably is because of refunds or something like that, or 2 cancellations I probably had. But that was still my best day, 20,551.73. It was over $2,000 in profit. And then on Prime Day, the day before that, the store did 18,120. And yeah, that's pretty much just a little bit a recap. And again, this is inside of 9 months. It'll be exactly 9 months in 7 days. But one of the things that you should also take note of is that I'll just go back to when I started. So you'll notice over here in pretty much the entire month of May, except for the first 6 days, there's no sales. And the reason is because the store was on vacation mode from May 7th all the way until June 9th. June 9th is when I turned the store back on. And you can see the store did on June 9th, 1,400 in sales. And actually, just since I've turned the store back on, if you just want to go and just see, because I know a lot of people will ask that, like, if I put my store on vacation mode, is it going to affect my sales? Am I going to – well, actually, no, let's do that. Let's go back to – well, yeah, June 9th, actually. That's when I turned the store back on. So they'll ask, like, if I put my store on vacation mode, is it going to slow things down? Is it going to, affect my business? And it really has had zero impact on my business in terms of the pace I was on before I put it on vacation mode, and then the pace I was on right when I turned the store back on. And you can see that since the store's been on, it's been on again since the 9th. So how many days is that? So it's been set 20. It's been about 3 weeks. So 21 8. So like 39 days. So in 39 days, the store has done. Let's just see what that is. It's averaging $6,600 per day, as you can see. So it's been literally, it picked up right where it left off. And if you look at the last, whoops, I just screwed up right there, but whatever. If you look here, you can see last 7 days, 80,000 in sales. Last 15 days, 147,000. And last 30 days, 222,000 in sales. So it's actually picked up a lot. In the last 7 days, it's over $10,000 a day. And in the last 15 days, it's on pace for pretty much over 10,000 a day. So in the last 2 weeks, I've been doing about 10,000 a day on average. And this is also, again, with less than 40 listings selling on Amazon. And I literally only use one supplier. So I'll stop sharing my screen. Cool. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So again, it's been $1 million pretty much in 8 really 9 months.
And what is the profit on that $1 million? Because someone
It's over 10%.
Yeah, someone on the video we did yesterday with the 21,000, this dude was like, yeah, everyone talks about sales, but no one wants to say how much money they made. So what do you tell? Over 10%. So you made at least $120,000.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, again, if you look at the math, if you do the math on it, on $1,018,000, you can just pretty much call it 100,000 profit in 8 months, which is, I don't know, what is that? We'll just say 9 months even. We'll even count the vacation mode. So that's like 11 grand profit a month, which isn't bad if you go based on 10% margins. And for those of you who question the margins, like all I could say is just go and watch some of the case studies of the students that we've interviewed, because their margins are better than 10%. And I've said over and over again on these lives that the reason I like to use the number 10% is because it's a very achievable number that all of you guys can realistically get in your business if you're drop shipping on Amazon using the strategies that I teach inside the inner circle. Like 10% is not unrealistic at all. And we have students that some people will also say, yeah, but you use gift cards, which I disclose openly, and all of you guys can use gift cards. But we have students who don't use cards. Like they work with suppliers where you can't even get cards, and they're getting 14%, 12, 13%. So 10% is very achievable. It's a conservative number. But yeah, I definitely get significantly more than 10%. But again, if you just want to go to make numbers easy, about 100 grand profit in 9 months, which is about 11,000 a month, which is pretty good.
So guys, smash that like button. There are 24 of you guys watching this and 6 likes. She said, I got to get on this.
Definitely. The link's in the description. You can go to amznarmy.com and fill out the application, and we'll give you a call.
So G, are you new to this? Jason said the one thing I don't like about wholesale is no cashback.
Crazy to, yeah. I just saw that right now. Yeah. See, I don't know much about the wholesale side of things.
Jason, are you willing to do a live with us tomorrow? Because I could set up the call and we could compare wholesale to this way of retail arbitrage or drop shipping, the way we're doing it. So maybe we could talk about that, because I was trying to figure out what we could talk about with Jason on the channel, but because he does wholesale, this will be very interesting.
Yeah, the differences between wholesale and retail. And yeah, the pros and cons, all that. That stuff is all pretty intriguing to me as well. Dominic said, Jason said, sure, what time? Hit me up on email. Yeah, Dominic said, how many different businesses? Dominic, I mean, right now, well, and Mark, you could answer as well, but we have obviously the inner circle. Right. We have the done for you service, and then we have our own Amazon stores. So I guess you could say there's 3 different ways that we're profiting from Amazon dropshipping.
Yeah. Jason, I'll hit you up and we'll definitely schedule a time, because that'll be an interesting conversation. So could some of you guys who are drop shipping hit us with some questions about drop shipping, or about just asking non-drop ship questions? Yeah, I don't do much business outside of this stuff, right? Like I all I did was eBay drop shipping for a lot of years, and only because it's automated now I decided to like diversify. Okay, I followed you and done eBay drop shipping, got my first warning from them, so I'm thinking to shift to Amazon. Now, 2 things, right? if you got a warning from eBay, I don't know what warning you're talking about. If you got an MC011 from eBay and you got over it, you're actually in the clear. So I wouldn't say I'll switch from eBay dropshipping to Amazon. What I would say is if you want to make a lot more money, that is a lot controlled and a lot more predictable, Amazon dropshipping is a lot more predictable, and there's a higher ceiling to the potential than eBay is. You know what I mean? So they're two different games. eBay is like we talk about how many listings. So Matthew, you have less than
40. And so
right.
that's what I wanted to say real quick. Like, so I'll just go back to like Roman, for example. And we did an interview with him. I don't know, time. I can't keep track of time these days, but it's within the last few weeks, last month. I don't know. But he did eBay dropshipping for 1 year before he started doing Amazon dropshipping. With eBay dropshipping, it took him a year to get to the point where he was generating about like $1,500 a day. And again, you can go watch the interview. This is in his own words. And he had about 320 listings. In his first week of implementing what he learned in the inner circle, he said he spent like a day and a half putting up listings. And within the first week, he was doing like $3,000-$4,000 a day. And he's been pretty much maintaining that. And I think the only reason he slowed things down is just because I know he was leveraging credit. But Roman's 20 years old. He's been killing it. So the point I want to make, though, is that with Amazon, and look, with DS Genie, I know you can get data on how often an item sells with an individual seller on eBay. But there's tools available where you can pull data on Amazon where you literally will know how often things sell. So it's a lot easier to scale. It's a lot more predictable because you're not just guessing, listing random things, just hoping to get sales. Like, you're doing things a lot more strategically. The downside to that is that you're not going to list. You're not, and the things you don't want to anyway, but you're not going to find thousands of items, or you're not going to find 50 or 100 listings in a day that are going to make a ton of sense. But at the same time, you're going to be a lot more efficient building your business. And that's how, again, all the students, with no exception, that are getting insane results have 10, 15. Casey Printers has 3 listings, and he's doing like $3,000 a day. And he's another one that has to constantly turn his store off because he runs out of money. And he had some issue. He even mentioned it on the live yesterday. He had some issue that Payability denied him that he has to clear up before they will approve him. But either way, though, he's still getting insane results. You know, that's unheard of, to do a few grand a day with a few listings. And if I didn't know what I know, and I wasn't getting the results I'm getting, and if I haven't seen the results all the students have been getting, I wouldn't believe that either. So, like, if you guys are new watching this, I completely could understand why you could think it's hard to believe. But again, this process at this point, I mean, it's already been proven from since Mark and I just started doing this before we even trained a single person. But now it's proven that people like you that are watching can do this too. And so if you want to get these type of results and you want to start making money online, if you've tried things in the past that didn't work and you want something that actually works, that's reliable, click the link in the description, watch the video that I made. I'm going to do an update as well. That video is a little old now because that was when we launched. It's about 3 months old, but it's still very relevant. But I'm going to do an update now that we just hit the $1 million in sales. But again, if you guys want to learn this, and I'm not just saying it. I know you might hear guys say now is the best time. But the reason now is the best time to start is because we're leading up to the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, it's a lot easier to get amazing results. And again, your biggest problem will be that you don't have enough money to continue growing your business. Again, and there's other downsides that come with dropshipping on Amazon that you have to be aware of that we definitely teach. But at the same time, like I've said before, every business has pros and cons. And so again, if you want to start, now is a great time. And like I said, fourth quarter is coming up. My store, I didn't put my first listing up till October 25th. from October 25th till December 31st did over 200,000 in sales. And it was simply because I rode the wave of the holidays in the fourth quarter. And I was selling a lot of things that would sell really well during the holidays. So let's see if there's any questions, though. Fairly new to eBay drop. How realistic is it to scale to 100K profit a year? Number one, like, again, so to make 100,000 profit a year, let's just break it down. Divided by 12 is 8,333 per month in profit. And if you're getting a 10% margin divided by 0.1, that means you'd have to do about 83,000 a month in sales. And just to be, we'll just say 90,000 a month in sales that you'd have to get to. And in order to do 90,000 in sales, unless you have something like payability, to do 90 grand per month every month, you're going to need to have, you know, depending on, you'll probably need to have like around 30 to 45,000 that you can tie up because Amazon pays you every 2 weeks. So in order to even hit that type of profit, you need to have capital or you need payability. So some of you, and before you get discouraged, let me explain. This is why I love Tony's story, because like Tony, when he started this, he's like, if I could make, he works at UPS. He has a 6-figure salary with bonuses. He's been there for like 12, 13 years, literally since we got out of high school. He's like, if I could make an extra $500 a month, I'll be super happy with that. I'm like, man, I have items in my store that make me $2-3 grand a month individually. So 500 a month, like no problem. You're gonna for sure hit that goal. And his biggest issue was, again, he only had about 10 grand that he could play with. And what that meant is that it limited what he was able to sell per month. And so because of that, he was only able to make, you know, like his first month, he might have made like $500. And I know in May, he made like $22.50, I think it was in May. That's what he made in May. And I'm not sure what his profit was in June, but he just got payability a few weeks ago. And I should text him and tell him to send me a screenshot of where he is now, but send me a screenshot of the sales. But I'll still send you the last one. I showed this on yesterday's live. He texted me this one the other day, and he was at like $53,000 for the month. Here it is right here. 53,000. Oh, I'm gonna have to. It's
Matthew, where did you go? Matthew.
hear me?
Yeah,
Wait,
I hear you
there
now.
we go.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, boom. There we go. Okay. Right? This is what he sent me. What was the day that he sent this? Well, it was Prime Day. It was on Prime Day that he sent this. So since he had payability, it enabled him to scale his store to 53 grand in the first 15 days. So if we do the math on that, that's $3,500 a day that he can now do because he has payability. But payability only gave him a 60-40 split. If some of you, if you're like, what's payability? Basically, it's a service that pays you every single day, and they pay you based on your daily sales. And Mark mentioned yesterday, it's based, they don't pay you until you've uploaded the tracking numbers. So they pay you when you start out, it's like 60-40, then they go to 80-20, then 90-10. And what it enables you to do, because you now get paid every day instead of every 2 weeks, you're not limited to scale your business based on, like Tony only had 10 grand. So he was limited to do about 15 grand in sales. 12,000, 15,000 a month was his average for the first few months. Where now, because he has payability, he can do 100,000 a month. So if you're out there and you're like, man, I only have 5 grand or 10 grand, I can't make 100 grand a year. You're wrong. You're only limited until you get payability. And once you get payability, you then can scale the business to making 100,000 profit per year if that's what your goal is to do. Right? And again, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to make that money, but I'm just saying it's very possible. And I did it in 8 months. And if I could do it in 8 months, you could do it in a year. Because the only difference between you and myself and everybody else that gets results is that we know what to do. And then we have the drive to actually implement and do it. Because if you think about it, if you knew how to do it, you'd be doing it. So the only difference is just that you just don't know how to do it at this point, but you can learn how to do it. And all you got to do, just go to amznarmy.com and fill out the application. And you can watch that video, apply, and you can be a part of the 6-week coaching program where you'll learn step by step exactly how you can do this.
So DW said, doesn't payability require minimum amount of sales? So payability only requires $2,000 per month in sales for what, 3 months? For 90 days?
I believe that's what it is. Yeah.
So it's not any exorbitant amount of sales you need to have. You need to have sold $2,000 a month for 3 months.
Wait, hold on. Logitech. All right, now I'm gonna turn this one back on. There we go.
Yeah.
That's better. So yeah, guys, I mean, the business is a simple business, and it's like for those of you who don't know, I started with private label, and it's like private label is an amazing business. You can make, I was fortunate that even when everything spiraled downward and eventually went to nothing, we still walked away super profitable. But although it's a great business with a lot of upside, there's also, and again, every business has risk, but with private label, you can literally burn tens of thousands of dollars, and you have to invest the money up front before you ever receive the inventory. The lead time from when you identify what you want to private label and then actually get it to Amazon could take 2 months. And then you're then playing the game of getting the product ranked. You have to know how to market the product. You can't just rely on Amazon's traffic. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, Amazon has so much traffic. It's true, but that traffic is on page 1. It's like Google or any search engine. Most of the traffic is on page 1. Now, do people shop on 2 and 3? I'm sure there are some people who buy on page 2 and 3, but the majority of them are on page 1. So when you private label, you have to be able to also rank your product. And so you might say, well, with drop shipping, how do you get traffic? Well, then that's one of the beautiful things about it is you're leveraging listings that already rank and are already selling. So you're literally just jumping in and getting a piece of the traffic that already exists. You're not creating new traffic. So when you compare it to other ways of building a business, to me, in my opinion, having done private label, drop shipping, this is by far a much superior model in my opinion. And again, I'm biased on it. And like I said, I've taught a lot of people private label as well. And we have a ton of success stories from private label. But we also have a lot of people who did invest money in products that failed. And it's just the reality with that type of business. It's very risky. Where with this business, if you do things the right way, if you learn what you need to avoid and you learn the right things, you can really have a good business drop shipping on Amazon. And it's still scalable. And if you do it the way I show you, it's a lot more predictable than when you're just going on a supplier and just listing every single item in a category with a brand. Like that will make you sales for sure, but that's not predictable. And so a lot of people think drop shipping is not scalable or predictable, but it's like, if you go back on the lives, even that's what's so good is you can go back and watch them. I even said that I was going to scale my store to about 300 grand a month. I said I want to start scaling it to up to 300, 400 grand a month. 4th of July weekend, I spent a couple days sourcing a bunch of items. And in the last 2 weeks, I'm on pace to do 300 grand a month. So that's called predictable and scalable. I set out what I wanted to do, and then I was able to do it. And again, I'm sharing this with you because you guys can do this too. So let's just see. I don't know if any questions have come in. Doesn't pay. Oh, we already answered that. You know what's weird is when I go back and watch the recording of the lives, I see a bunch of questions that I didn't see live.
Really? So, guys, there's some of the guys. So I have 4 trainees for the Done For You service, and they are on they should be watching this live. So if you guys are watching this from the office, feel free to ask any questions. We may not be able to answer them because we're not giving away secret savings. But I was training them.
Gail said,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to answer Gail's question. It said, do I recommend putting the store on vacation mode while on cruise in August? I mean, it depends who's running your store while you're gone and how much faith you have in them to manage it if it's going to be completely hands off. I mean, I've been on a few cruises, and even when you buy the internet packages, it's super choppy, but that would be up to you for sure. I mean, you could, if you have a real good team of VAs managing it that you can rely on, but if you don't feel comfortable with them managing it and you can't micromanage them for a week, then just put it on vacation. And yeah, if you're the one managing it, internet's terrible. So, I mean, I haven't been on a cruise in a few years, but internet is not good. Even when you buy the packages, it's terrible. So I wouldn't want to do that. I would just put it on vacation mode, especially if you don't have VAs.
Gail, do me a favor. Gail, do me a favor and send me your WhatsApp number, please, on Facebook. Yeah, go ahead, Matthew. You're talking
even on vacation, you have to manage the messages. That is correct. You do. When you're on vacation mode, you still have to maintain your customer service 100%. No, thanks for pointing that out, because, yeah, hopefully that's important that you didn't think you could just not log in the whole time. So you still got to answer questions. Amazon's always confused me needing approval to sell certain products. How do you get past that? So initially, I just would, if I ran into a product that was gated, I would just move on. And one day I went on YouTube and because I was just curious. I wanted to know. I was like, I wonder if I could get approved to sell like Nike. Because when I was sourcing, I found some really good Nike stuff with really good margins. And I wanted to see if I could get approved because it's restricted. So I YouTubed how to get ungated for Nike selling on Amazon. And I found a guy who talked about getting ungated and how he's ungated now for literally every single brand, every category. He's been selling on Amazon for years. And he talked about how, like, once you start doing volume, you'll automatically start getting ungated for certain brands and things like that. And so once I found that out, that you could automatically get approved for different brands, I then went on Google and I did a search for gated categories and brands on Amazon. And then I found someone that if you entered your name and email, they would send you like a list they put together. And I literally went through that list and I went into my store, and in my store, and I'll even show you guys. So, right, I'm not sharing my screen right now, am I?
No.
And you'll see I did it all. Well, no, you guys can see me, so I'm not. So I'll go to catalog. Like, I'll let you guys see this because it's pretty cool, man.
And G, don't go anywhere, because when Matthew's done, I want to answer that question, because that actually came up in training this morning with the Done For You guys.
So check this out. I recently just got approved to sell Panasonic with no invoices. I got approved for watches. You can see a lot of them were same day. Like, I literally went through and actually, no, these were more recent. So Gucci, I just recently did, Hugo Boss, but this was back in April, a bunch of them that I got. So Frigidaire, Hoover, you could just see all these. Tommy Hilfiger. I got approved for like different categories, like power tools. I mean, I'll go through it a little bit more. Lacoste, look, Jordan, a bunch of these different shoe brands, bunch of stuff. Like, there's a lot of really big brands you guys are familiar with. I got approved for like car seats, because I think that's something that not everyone can sell. Well, I know it's not, because I'm approved. It's one of the ones I got approved for. And I literally just went down the list. And what also happened was that when I went, so if you're in your Amazon dashboard and you go to catalog and you go to view selling applications, you'll notice that if you've encountered a lot of items that are gated and then you didn't submit invoices, you'll notice that they go into your selling applications as a draft. So I had a bunch of drafts, and then I just clicked. I forgot what it says. Let me see what it says again. Let me just go to draft. Okay, so it said go to application. So when I clicked on go to application on a bunch of the ones that I was previously denied on, I all of a sudden got approved. So what you'll find is as you start doing volume after like 4 months, 3-4 months, I think. And again, Tony, I know, has got ungated for a bunch of stuff too. And he's only been drop shipping for 4 months, period. And also is just keep that in mind. I didn't actually put that in perspective. His first 4 months, works at UPS, never did anything on the internet, and he now has a 6-figure per month Amazon business. It's pretty insane. But anyway, though, that's how I've been able to get ungated for a lot of stuff. Otherwise, I've never submitted invoices and all of this kind of stuff. Other than when I did private label to sell supplements, you had to get ungated. But back when I started, it was right before Amazon changed all their rules. And I was able to use retail receipts. So like I went to Walmart, I bought like 10 bottles of omega-3. I went to Target and I bought like 10 bottles of vitamin C. Like I just bought a bunch of different supplements and I was able to get ungated with those receipts. They've now changed it to invoices, as many of you guys know. So, but I started on Amazon, 4 years ago, where retail receipts went away like around like November, December, I think it was, of 2016, I think it was. Was it 16 or 15? Maybe 15.
Right.
2015, I think it was. But anyway, though, so yeah, I've never got ungated any other way. I just relied on volume. And if you do your research, like I have done, they're like the guys that have got ungated for Nike, things like that. Like the guy's name, I think his name was Drizzy or Dreezy Sells, something like this. And this guy is approved for every single brand, and he claimed it was just off volume. So, Matt, how are you preparing? Gucci and that sort of brands are in the
No, Matthew, I want to answer. I want to answer. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to answer this guy. So he's like, I've learned drop shipping on eBay, and most of the ways, methods I've used for that are most of the ways or methods I've used for that transferable to Amazon, such as sniping. So sniping in particular is not transferable, and I'll explain why. And this happened this morning. I went through this morning training the guys, right? So, see. Hold on. Está no, so okay, go ahead. Matthew, could you just continue something up? Give me a second.
I'll answer that, though. That's not a problem. So one of the things is first of all, a lot of drop shippers still drop ship where they just list every and any product. So if you snipe them, unlike eBay, on Amazon, for each product, there's one listing. Now, I'm not saying there's an exceptions where certain products will have multiple listings, because people out there will get creative. They'll even create a listing for a product and change one of the letters in the model number to confuse competitors. They do all kinds of crazy things. But in general, there's one listing for every product. And that's how it's supposed to be. On eBay, there could be 20 listings for one product. So on eBay, when you list items and they're brand new listings, they also tend to rank better when they first go up. So if you're just constantly listing items on eBay and you're sniping other sellers, that could work. And it does work. It works for sure, especially if you're listing items that you see, like what Mark has taught for years, that have sold 4 times in the last 30 days. Because that's just from one seller. There's several sellers selling that one item. On Amazon, though, if I snipe a seller, when I click, I'm seeing their price. So when I go and I click on the item and I'm doing my research on that item, I'm seeing what their price is. And their price might be the 5th or 6th cheapest price. So if I'm only competing with them, there might be the number one price might be at MSRP. So that product is a complete waste of time for me to list if I can't compete at MSRP. And if you're sniping based on the data you're getting from their store, you're going to be listing stuff with data that's not useful. So it doesn't work because of that. And secondly, like I said, you know, when you're listing items on eBay, you could, for one product, you could have 20 different sellers with 20 different listings. On Amazon, generally there's one listing. So price is very important. And if you're like the 5th or 6th cheapest price, let alone even if you're the 2nd or 3rd cheapest price, you're not going to get that many sales. You generally want to have the lowest price, or it's kind of hard to get a good volume of sales. But I don't know if you were going to say anything similar or you want to add anything.
Yeah,
but
the reason why I wanted to answer that is because the data is completely off, right? So when our guys are training, they know sniping because they know eBay, and then they know the methods that we do, right? And out of the group, there's one guy sniped a seller because they're drop shippers on Amazon. And like he had to do 10 items, and then I reviewed them, and I reviewed them in front of the whole team so everyone could learn from this, right? And on the spreadsheet, when he was finding the items, he had to put the source price, the Amazon price that he's sniping from, and the links and so on, the ASN and all that stuff, right? So out of his 10 items, like 4 or 5 of them, his prices were anywhere from his like competing price was anywhere from $40 to $70, and the source price was considerably lower, and there was volume and all this stuff, right? So when you're looking at it at face value, it would make sense. When we looked at, so I let them make the mistake and we went through it, and then we went back and looked at the main listing. Most of those items, the price was like $12 and $19 and shit like that. And the reason why was because Amazon was selling a lot of those items. So when you're sniping from some of these drop shippers are throwing up thousands of listings. And the reason why I wanted to like bring that up is because the price difference is so ridiculous that you don't have a fucking chance to make a sale. Like not even close. So you end up wasting a lot of time. So it was really interesting to see like the difference and the type of mistakes that you can make just assuming that sniping would work. And then when you realize all the back checks, it took so much time, you were just like, okay, let me stop sniping. So it's really interesting, like being deep in it with my guys, seeing the mistakes that they're making, like in person, because we would now learn even more stuff that we could teach to you guys in the inner circle, right? So yeah.
No, yeah, and basically, again, like if you hear what Mark just said, it's pretty much like the same. So again, like sniping is just not what we're looking at. We're not looking at seller rank. And again, I'm not saying bestseller rank isn't a strategy that works. One of the positives, because there are positives to the strategy of just listing thousands of items. The positives are that when you list items, and not always, but a lot of times, you'll find items where you might be able to get like a 25% margin on it, or even 30% margin, but it sells like maybe once every 3 or 4 months. You know, so it's like to get consistent sales on those kind of items, it takes thousands. So it's like you can get really good margins on some of those items, but you can never bank on those really selling. It's, again, not predictable. So we use a very specific strategy. We teach it in the inner circle. It's a simple strategy. Anyone can do it. It's, again, not rocket science. The reason I even thought of approaching drop shipping the way that I did using this strategy is because I came from the private label business, which to launch a successful private label brand.
That dude did not private label. Think about FBA. If you've seen the term FBA online, that's what Matthew's talking about. But go ahead, Matthew. Sorry.
Yeah. So generally, people who do FBA are private label. Like there are some people who do wholesale FBA, but generally it's all it is you getting a product, for example, from China, or it could even be a manufacturer in the US, and you're simply putting your label on it. And you don't even have to literally put your label on it where you're branding it. You're just assigning a barcode to it, essentially, getting a UPC code for it, listing it, naming it, and that's your brand, your label. But if you wanted to shortcut it. But anyway, though, but that's what private label is in a nutshell. And I kind of I forgot where I was heading with that. But what was I saying, dude? I lost my train of thought there. So I'll just go to questions and see if it comes back. But to get ungated, just keep trying, especially before holidays. I'm ungated in a bunch of toys and beauty. Yeah, Lisa also ungated for toys as well, which is definitely great for holidays, obviously. Gucci and that sort of brands are in the do not list. So how can you sell those? I don't even sell them, but I'm approved on Amazon to sell them. Does that mean that I'm approved with Gucci? No. If I go and sell it, a Gucci item, and Gucci sees it and they're not okay with it, can they come after me? Of course. So please don't be misinformed and think I'm saying that because Amazon ungated me that it makes it okay. I'm just telling you how I got ungated and answering that question. So I just want to clarify that. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. How are you preparing for fourth quarter? I don't even know how to. I mean, look. So one of the things, Gail, is I already have a lot of items that I know are going to sell really well in the fourth quarter, or especially like seasonal items because I already sold them. But in general, everything sells better fourth quarter. So we're all going to see an increase, even if you're selling, lawnmowers, vacuum. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Microwaves, it could be anything. Like you're going to see an increase on everything pretty much. But the way that I'm going to prepare is that, and I'm already prepared, is that I have a list of amazing things I'm going to sell, but they're all seasonal items. They don't, as soon as January hits, they literally will stop selling. But other than that, and that's why I've also been, because I wanna do at least $1 million in sales in fourth quarter. That's a goal that I'm shooting for, which I think I'm gonna exceed it because the store is already pacing to do about 300 a month just with what I've done in the last couple weeks. And I'm pretty sure that even if I just maintain 300 a month up until fourth quarter, I'll probably average 400 plus a month. It would be a good guess, I would think. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, guys. So Matthew, I need to go because I need to get back to the office before the guys leave, and they leave in 30 minutes.
All right, for sure. I'll just answer that last question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the best way, G, is just, again, I'm not making a joke about it, but what you want to do is go to amznarmy.com, fill out an application, and apply for the inner circle. And we teach exactly what we do in the inner circle. So if you go through all our lives, there's a lot of value and golden nuggets and a lot of good tips that we give for free on these videos. But we're not going to give you all the meat of how we do this on these lives. That's obviously for our inner circle members. So if you are interested in it, then definitely go and fill out an application. We'll jump on a call and you can get started. And also, G, another thing as well is that it's not, like I've said, the $1 million in sales I've done in 8 months is amazing. But what's more impressive is guys like Dominic, who's on this live right now, who's doing $4,000 a day. Guys like Tony doing $3,000 a day, and they're doing it in 4 months of learning how to do this. So you can get, even if you did 20, 30% of what they're doing, it would be amazing for any of you guys watching this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next live. Take care, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good one.